Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Super Bowl Sunday for all you football fanatics out there. So the pocket change market report comes a little bit later this weekend. Just a busy overall Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay. There's no time like today to deliver one of the most talked about reports in the Blue Ridge Silverhound portfolio of videos. So as you guys know or may not know, this is a video dedicated to all of you searchers out there that like to hunt and cherry pick varieties, errors, double dies, all sorts of kind of cool stuff that generally can be found from coin roll hunting, which is a very popular activity these days. Going through, that piggy bank jar, going through, other piggy bank jars, I'm sure. Another popular thing people like to do is cherry picking from like coin dealer stock or maybe a coin show. They'll buy a coin for, $10. They find a really nice, cool repunchment mark or an error on there that maybe the dealer didn't see in the first place, so you pick it up for a small little bit about amount of money, and then you turn around and flip it for a good, tidy profit. All right, so that is what this particular video is all about, is we take a look at the last 24 to 48 hours of market activity on eBay. We talk about some of the most relevant errors and varieties that you can find today. It doesn't matter where you're at across the country. These coins are hot, all right? Collecting coins, the coin collectibles market is blisteringly hot right now for a myriad of reasons. It's just a really fun hobby. Numismatics is shooting up to the moon. All right, you guys probably heard that expression here in the last few weeks. But we are going to talk about all of the more relevant sales from the last 24 to 48 hours. So there you go. Oh, and another thing to keep in mind. All the coins are raw. You don't need to grade these. Okay, these coins are cheap enough that you don't have to send them out to PCGS or NGC. You end up spending $30, $40 to get it into a slab, when the coin will still be worth $30 to $40. So you have essentially wasted your money on the grading fees. All the coins, you find them, and then you go ahead and flip them right on eBay. And that's what it's all about, is making the quick buck, right? All right, so before we go ahead and get started, I wanted to announce that we got new merchandise. Okay, we got the new line of certified Coinaholic Blue Ridge Silverhound merchandise that has dropped. They haven't updated yet on the YouTube product shelf that you see under the video, but if you wanted to and you're interested, we got sweatshirts, we got ladies and men's t-shirts, we got coffee mugs. As you can see, we even got some leggings with the C logo right on the pant leg cuff. It's pretty cool. We've already sold a few of those, along with a myriad of other different types of merchandise and apparel. We even have kids apparel on there as well. If you're interested and you want to show your support for Blue Ridge Silverhound, go ahead and click the link below in any one of the products I have currently up. Again, it'll take a few days for it to upload with the newest stuff from the Certified Coinaholic series. As you guys know, it's my tagline at the end of every video, and people love it. All right. So thank you again for all your support. Let's go ahead and jump right into the first eBay sale. It's going to be this bad boy right here. I'm actually quite glad that this is a Denver minted coin instead of a Philadelphia. Okay, so what does it matter? Well, Denver minted coins, you usually don't see a lot of mint errors. Okay, they're very meticulous in the quality control. So to find a coin like this is a little bit kind of strange. It's out of the box. But what we have here is a 2020D Salt River Bay U.S. Virgin Islands quarter. As you can see, there's a lot of weakness on the strike on the obverse, and it's real simple. This coin was struck through a lot of grease. So a U.S. Mint employee had put a lot of grease onto the dies and onto the machinery of that coin press to ensure that it's running at its optimal level, right? It's like changing the oil in your car. There's a lot of wear and tear involved after so many thousands of strikes of the coins that these things need to be serviced. And this is one way they do it. So they don't clean all the grease off of the machinery, they get gummed up onto the dies, or they apply that grease onto the dies, and then when it strikes its first several hundred coins, it's going to look like this. When the dies have to press through a bunch of grease onto the planchet to make a coin, there's going to be a lot of weakness on both the obverse and the reverse. So I guess really wherever you see the most amount of grease is where it's going to affect that side of the coin the most. So this coin, to keep you guys in perspective, sold for $29.15. If you wanted kind of a comparison of what that's equal to, that is what, $1.10 worth of 90% silver. I mean, that is huge. That's a great way to make some extra money. To some people, it's like a tank of gas too. So also, if you look at it from that point of view, that's even more meaningful to some. The next coin that we have here is one of the coins that people look for all the time. It's not a particularly rare variety, but it is definitely a staple in your roll hunting searches. This is the 2000 Lincoln Memorial cent with the wide AM reverse. So you have a pretty sizable gap in between the A and M at its base, and this is actually just a variant based off of the proof reverse. All right, so the U.S. Mint inadvertently used a reverse die that was intended for proof coin strikes on this coin, but this is the wide AM. Okay, the normal type is the close AM. The A and the M are touching at its base. This one right here is a pretty nice example as well. It's sold for $14.49. Again, if you had found the last two coins in your last coin roll hunting batch, okay, that's $45 worth of value that you have paid out of pocket face value. That's mind-numbing to think about, but that is the opportunity that exists when you're searching for these coins. The next one that we have here is the 1976 Bicentennial Quarter. Okay, a very popular design with the drummer boy reverse. As you can see, the coin looks like it was struck off center by a hair. To be more absolutely appropriate in the designation of this error, this is actually a slightly off center broad strike. Although at first glance, it does look like it was struck off center. Okay, so the broad strikes, normally you'll have a full design, obverse and reverse, and then you'll have somewhat of a rim that goes all the way around. Now this coin here, not without its problems. At first glance, it looks like a high-grade specimen, but you do have some corrosion here over the Y in Liberty, and then you have a little bit of rim damage here at the kind of like between 6 and 7 o'clock position on the coin. But as I have said in the past in previous pocket change market report videos, any error that you could find on a bicentennial quarter is going to be highly sought after by the collectors of such. This coin right here is sold for $8.75, even with those issues. So still a desirable coin. Do not toss these back. Keep them, flip them, put them into your collection. Whatever you want to do, they do have value. The next one that we have here is a very, very subtle 1973 Lincoln Memorial cent. And when I mean subtle, most folks, I would say 99% of the folks out there in the world today will look at this coin and say, well, it's just a regular Lincoln penny. Well, to a trained eye, if you look at the obverse of the coin, it looks like it's very weakly struck. This particular coin, however, was struck through a capped die. And because we have a lot of the main devices of that die present on this coin, it is a late die state die cap. All right, which means the die cap, after so many strikes with that coin capped right on that obverse hammer die, had thinned out to the point where it's like paper thin. You're able to get the transference of the die design onto the coin. All right, so while it looks a little bit weak, all right, the coin is going to exhibit a little bit of a deeper dish look around the rim. You see a lot of weakness in all of the devices, from the motto, Liberty, the date, but the portrait as well is going to be missing a lot of the normal detail that you expect of the coin. This one right here sold for $11.44. Again, based off of condition alone, you could tell that this coin has been tossed back and respent many hundreds of times, I would venture to guess. It is a coin that is well over 40 years old. As a matter of fact, it's almost 50 years old. In 2 years, this will be a 50-year-old coin, which is just crazy to me because that just shows my age. But anyways, make sure you look out for stuff like this. These will pop up when you least expect it. The next one that we have here is a very pleasing looking coin. The Statehood Quarter program was an important part of numismatics at its beginning stages in 1999. This is the 2001 P North Carolina Quarter. It is off-center struck by about 10%. So that is what you're looking at here. The coin is in phenomenal shape. Okay, it's probably a low-grade mid-state coin, like a mid-state 62-ish type grade level. This coin right here, 5% off center, 10%, somewhere around there, sold for $21. The coin is not terribly off center where, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. I come across coins like this on occasion. All right, they are still about the same size of a normal quarter. They're not too oblong or stretched out to where, it's not going to fit into a roll. These do come up on occasion. All right, we got a little bit of paper currency here. This is a 1969C $10 Federal Reserve note. Okay, the first thing that you'll notice about this note is that it's got kind of a blank line right here. So obviously something happened, right? And this is real simple. This is what they call in the currency collecting trade as a gutter fold. All right, so how does a gutter fold work? Well, when these sheets of currency were printed back in the day, or, probably more recent than that, sometimes the sheet will have a little wrinkle in it. Okay, so if the wrinkle isn't stretched out, the printing process will go on as normal. All right, so as long as you have that wrinkle, that's going to be an overprint over that defect on the paper sheet. Okay, during this time, the subject sheets held 32 notes, and it's not until after the final product of these notes, in which they're cut and examined, that you begin to see these defects. So when you stretch out that wrinkle in the paper after the note has been printed, you're going to have an omitted printed area where that wrinkle is. And it also shows up on the reverse as well. Sometimes they'll have kind of like the appearance of a misalignment in the print also. Like you see this one's kind of like misaligned downwards. There's more margin up here than there is at the bottom. That's normal because with the wrinkle in there, okay, it does skew the paper a little bit during the printing process. So this note right here is really nice. It's sold for $63.99. So we have another Lincoln cent here. This one's a 1987p. Okay, this coin is pretty well circulated. It's well loved. It's got some carbon issues on the obverse, but it looks like it's off center. But in reality, this is a partial tilted collar. All right, so the collar is what holds the coin into the striking chamber as that blank is being struck. All right, so if the collar is not all the way surrounding the coin at the strike, it's maybe a little bit tilted, this is what you're going to get. All right, so you're going to find that the collar is actually off center, or not off center, they're just off kilter a little bit, slightly angled. The metal flow has to go somewhere, so overlap over the tilted portion of the collar, and it'll produce this railroad looking effect right here on the rim. Truly magnificent looking error. This one coin here sold for $17.50, and these do appear in your coin roll hunts. These appear in circulation quite often. I've found I usually find maybe a good dozen or two every year. All right, so make sure you look out for these. They're worthwhile to pull out. This is a phenomenal error. Probably unlikely that you'll ever find something like this in change, but hey, it's worth talking about. So what we have here is a crescent moon shaped coin. We could deduce from what's left of the date, it is a 1981. This one right here has just a huge clip on it. Okay, so this is an overlapped, clip from the strip in which these were punched out originally. So the punch had punched over a partial clipped plan. but it's also a double clip as well. You can also see the second one here. You got this big one here. And then you also have the requisite Blakesley effect, which is just a little bit of flattening on the opposite edge rim. Okay, so you have this one here, this one there. Not so much, but it is legit. This coin right here sold for $33.75. They kind of like the rule of thumb when it comes to clips is either the more clips, the more valuable they are. The bigger the clip, the more valuable they are. So, you do see more minor clips, and we actually have more on the list, are worth a little bit less money, but they're still worth a lot of money in relation to not only the face value, but if you looked at, how much is this coin that's a little bit less radical of a clip compared to, say, a 90% silver half dollar. Okay, the price is going to be pretty similar. All right, so this one's cool. Okay, this is the subject coin of the video. This is a 1975D. This is a Denver minted Jefferson nickel. Again, like I had mentioned earlier in the video, Denver minted errors seldom come up, but when they do, people chase after them. This is actually a coin that exhibits a cut die break, so a piece of the die had fallen off after a ton of strikes. Again, that's part of the wear and tear process. This coin, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $66.66. Yeah, kind of a funny ending, dollar amount value sold at 66.66. But again, it just shows you how important coins like this are. Okay, as minor as the error is, cuds, by the way, are very well collected in general. But again, a Denver minted cud is just seldom seen. Philadelphia suitable kind of comparison of this same size cud would probably sell for about 20 to 30% less in value, like 40, 45 bucks. So this is a really cool, very important error. Now, this looks like just any old half dollar that, you and I would probably find if we were coin roll hunting half dollars. A coin so unforgettable, we would throw these back, re-roll them, send them back to the bank, and not think anything else different. This is a 1984p date. And what this one has going for it is it has weak reverse initials. Now, there are two marquee dates within the Kennedy half dollars that are recognized in the Cherry Picker's Guide as missing initials reverse. So in this little crux area of the eagle wing and leg, you have the FG initials. All right, Frank Gasparo. In this particular case, this one here is more severely weakened as a result of an abraded die, or just simply an over-polishing of the die. You can actually see some of the polishing marks here in this field area by the arrows, and then, even abraded a little bit of the arrows itself. So this is a very common phenomenon. This is something that you saw a lot of during the 70s and 80s. This is a 1984p, again, with this weakness in the initials. This is a coin that, again, most people overlook. But believe it or not, this coin right here sold for $4.99, which is roughly about the value of two 40% silver halves. Or maybe more like 1.75 40% silver halves. So it is worth taking out and possibly selling. All right, even though you can still see a little bit remnants of FG in there, and most importantly, it's worth the money. Now, what we have up next here is a 1940 Lincoln wheat cent. This one right here, as you can tell, has kind of like that wood grainy effect. Okay, this is an improper alloy mix. And this is what the coins look like after, normal circulation wear. The coin is not a high grade particularly, but eye appeal wise, this is a kind of like a very popular look that people are collecting. They call these woodies. No pun intended, again. But this coin right here, as simple and as common as it is, sold for $7.98. Again, these woody coins, you can see them all the way up to about 1980s. Pull them out, okay? There is a secondary market for these type of coins. Now, here's a neat one here, a 1990D. Here's another Denver Mint error. This one right here has what appears to be, and the actual seller had mentioned that this was a clamshell lamination, which it could be. You can actually see that half of the lamination had fallen off, and then you have another piece here. Originally, this looked like damage, but that's just, the defect of that top layer of clad or nickel. And then you have a completely exposed copper core, which is just neat to me. But a clamshell is a type of lamination where it's split right down the middle of the edge. It's like a clamshell. It opens up that way. So on its thinnest side, you see the split. Okay, so this is kind of like a partial clamshell, but a good deal of that lamination had fallen off. Again, a very atypical date and mint mark to find this type of error. But this one right here is sold for $24.46. Just a really incredible error to find. Nothing much to see here. Just a really severely off-center Jefferson nickel. This one's about 90% off-center. Just a phenomenal looking coin. No visible date, which kind of depresses the value of the coin a little bit. It might even have a little bit of damage here on the opposite side. However, this one right here sold for $15. So if you're into this sort of thing, you like collecting these, regardless of the date, it is a relatively affordable type error to collect. All right, so here's another error pair. So this was sold as a pair on eBay, and I have full obverse and reverse pictures. This is the obverse, but the first coin, this 81p that you see here, has an obvious rim clip, and he has some of that Blakesley effect on the opposite side of that clip where you see the flattening of the edge. And then you have a coin here, a 76 Bicentennial Kennedy with a slightly misaligned obverse die. All right, so you see a little bit of a thicker edge on this one and a little bit thin here. Nothing too major. I come across these quite frequently. This is more of the driving force in the sold price of this set. But on the reverse, there you go. The pictures are quite dark. All right, so make sure if you are selling on eBay that you get the lighting down so where you have an acceptable amount of light flooding the surfaces of the coin without making it too reflective. This pair right here sold for $11.50. I would say if this was sold separately, that'd be an $8 coin all day long. All right, which is more than 50 or more in terms of value, more than a 90% silver $half. All right, which is cool. Another $half, another abraded die. This is a 1983p. Again, not the recognized Cherry Picker's Guide variety coin. However, this is another date during the 80s in which these can be found. The coin is quite well circulated. It's not a beauty, that's for sure. But same spot, you're going to find missing initials. This one is actually quite missing. I don't see any remnants of FG on there at all. But this one here is sold for $5.21. Again, that's money in the bank. All right, it's a smaller amount of value, if you sold it on eBay, but it all adds up in the end. 1999 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Okay, here's another partial tilted collar coin. Now, this particular seller also was trying to promote the doubled profile, but that is quite normal on not only off-center struck Lincoln coins during this era where you had the copper-coated zinc planchets, but also these type of misalignments in the collar. All right, so anytime where you get a little extra stretching on the strike, you're going to see the doubled profile, and that's simply just the copper plating pulling away a little bit more. But you can see kind of like that railroaded edge as well on this one here. Again, look out for these; they're out there. This one sold for $21.50, which that's a lot of money for what you're getting here. All right, so this is a really cool coin. I remember talking about this one, and I haven't seen too many sold. So it's a coin that is still out there today. It's a 2019 Philadelphia American Memorial Park National Park Quarter. All right, this one, as you can see on the obverse, has some die deterioration issues. That is apparent. However, Upon closer examination, this is also a doubled die obverse. Okay, this is number one in the website doubleddie.com. All right, so you have a nice combination, a nice blend of not only the die deterioration, you could see that in the T, the W, and E, but you could also see the stretching of these letters, all independent of each other. Really cool coin. Okay, this one is very reminiscent of the 2018 Michigan Painted Rocks doubled die obverse as well. So you have two different dates to look for. You got the 19 American War, and you also have the Michigan. All right, so make sure that you look for these doubled dies, and they only exist on the Philadelphia Struck coins. This one right here sold for, believe it or not, $49.95. That's quite a bit of money. And, that is the going rate, the market value, because there's so few of these out there today that this is definitely a coin you need to be on the lookout for. All right, so we have a really cool looking 1964D Lincoln Memorial. This one is off center by about 55%. Okay, that's just a ballpark kind of like eyeball guess on this one. But again, another well-collected date, a little bit on the tougher side. This one sold for $22. Another Lincoln, this time a little bit newer, 2017 Philadelphia. Of course, first date ever of a Lincoln cent where they put a physical P mint mark to commemorate the 225th anniversary of the Philadelphia Mint. All right, but what's cool about this one, and we've seen quite a few of these, and this is, again, if you're living east of the Mississippi on the East Coast, you can find some of these amazing die clashes. So you have a clashing of the reverse die on the obverse. That is just simply marvelous. And it's pretty strong, too. You have, part of E Pluribus Unum clashed on the obverse, and it's just really cool. It's a decent looking coin. It's had some circulation. Here's another close-up of behind Abraham Lincoln. You could see some more of that clashing feature. This one right here sold for $18.50. Again, you just see all the money add up for coins that probably, you could admit it to yourself. If you don't look for these, then, you would certainly miss them. All right, here's a dollar bill. This time a 1988 Series $1 Federal Reserve note. The front of the bill really doesn't have a whole lot to offer, as far as an error. But if you looked on the back, wow. We have a pretty sizable solvent smear or an ink smear, however you want to classify it. They're both the same. But you have a ton of this green ink just splotched over the reverse of this note. How this one got out of the BEP, I'm not sure. But anyways, there you go. This one right here sold for $94. All right. Another 64, this time a Philadelphia Lincoln cent. This is a coin that, should be a normal find for a lot of you, that's looking for doubled dies. This particular one is the FS 801 doubled die reverse. Okay, you can see that probably the most notable. I found a few of these, but the most notable attribute of this doubled die are these split serif S's. In states are some of the most strongest, but you have a lot of doubling here in E Pluribus Unum, and then all in United States of America. Okay, here's another close-up of the word America. You can see the splits on each of the letters. This is not machine doubling, by the way, because machine doubling does not produce the level of splitting of those serifs. But this is a really cool one. But I will confess that this one probably sold for a little bit less than what the going market rate is, and that is $13. Yeah, and this is a coin in much higher grades that sells for between $50 to $75. Graded examples, mid-state 65 and higher, is $100 or more. So there's a lot of potential here. It's a very strong doubled die. Now this one doesn't look like much. Here's a 1946D. Again, a lot of these photos are coming up really dark, and these are the original photos from these seller listings. So again, lighting plays a huge role in this. Indirect lighting, strong lighting that's bounced off the wall and onto your image is going to be a great practice. All right, try it out. But this one right here has a a lamination or a strike through on one on the reverse. All right. Again, pretty subtle. Some people may look like damage, but that's a strike through. This one right here sold for $13.14. Again, that's a coin that most people would probably toss back. All right, so here's another candy, another clip, 1967. This is a 40% silver compo. This one right here has a nice clip here at the date. All right, and then that Blakesley effect right here above the E in Liberty. Check your bulk silver scrap. All right, these are coins that exist quite regularly. I probably own myself 20, 25 clipped candies. Nice little collection. This one right here sold for $18.99. So if you're looking at it from a silver value perspective, it's a $3 coin. If you looked at it as an error enthusiast, it's worth almost $20. So, at that point, might as well just sell the thing and buy yourself a few 90% silver hats if you wanted to, enhance your silver stack. That's a pretty good idea. All right, so this is a really cool off-center struck 1964 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel, and this one is probably about 25-30% off-center. Really pleasing coin. This same seller sold a couple really phenomenal looking coins, by the way. We have one more after this. This one right here sold for $40.89. A great looking coin, great error, high grade. And the same seller sold this one, a 1999 Philadelphia. 99 is kind of like that last 1 year shot before the gold dollars, the sack dollars came into play. This one right here is a really nice off-center broad struck coin. All right, it looks off-center, but it's broad struck because you have full design details all the way to the edge. But this one right here, just a really cool looking error. You don't find these that often on 99 Susan B. Anthony's. Sold for $111.46. All right, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so here's one that's kind of really out in left field. This is a Frederick Douglass National Park Quarter, 2017 style. I believe it's a Philadelphia. This one right here exhibits another tilted partial collar. You can see the railroaded edge here. The date looks like it's doubled, but that's all part of the tilted collar process. With the incuse devices, a lot of coins are showing up with what appears to be doubling, but this is another version of machine doubling. Okay, that is pretty regular on incuse design details because this whole edge of the coin is raised. And then you have the letters that are actually incuse, which is into the design of the coin. But pretty cool. Believe it or not, this one sold for $18.75. The coin has been circulated, as you can see. So it's not perfect. And the final coin of the group, I mean, if we're going to go out strong. How about a no-date Washington Quarter with a huge die break cud on the date? Now, believe it or not, this is actually quite common. There are a number of these that exist out there. People find them all the time, and they usually engulf the entire date. It's a Philadelphia struck coin. It's a pre-1999 era quarter, so it's a clad quarter. It could be from the 70s, 80s, or maybe early 90s. It's hard to say. But what we have here is a nice huge cud. This one sold for $93. Anything die breakish or cud sells for a lot of money. These are very widely collected. People collect them by the cud catalog number type on the website. So it's like Pokemon. They want to collect them all, and as a result, they're worth its weight in gold. $93 is quite a bit of money, and it might be enough for someone to pay utility or buy more silver or something. It's just a tremendous amount of money. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the PCMR. It sure was a pleasure talking with you about all these phenomenal finds. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that good old bell for instant notifications. And go ahead and check out the Certified Coinaholics new merchandise group. Just go ahead and click any one of the merchandise pieces I have under the video on that shelf there. And it'll take you to my store on Teespring. And then you could go ahead and choose, another store that's going to have, or choose another product line that's going to have my certified Coinaholic line. Really cool. We've had a number of sales. The thing's been taken off. And again, it's a great way to support my channel, above all else. And, it gets some really snazzy apparel and other, merchandise pieces out to you. The coffee mug looks particularly neat as well. But that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys take care. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. Until next time, I will see you on the next coin video. Happy hunting.